Artificial intelligence is taking jobs. It's no secret that this is becoming a scary reality for many fields of work. One field that may not fully realize its impending major change of landscape is meteorology. The study of weather is about to change drastically, and many are not prepared for what is likely to come. For those that want their career to survive, consider this your wake-up call. Meteorology, for those that are unfamiliar, is the study of the atmosphere. From forecasting the weather, researching atmospheric phenomena, to even studying the effects of what we put in the air, it is the primary science for understanding the atmosphere encompassing our planet. Being an expansive field of study, there are a variety of careers that can be had. Two of the most dominant are broadcast and operational meteorology. Most people are familiar with broadcast meteorologists. They are the ones seen on the news or other forms of media giving weather forecasts, where their focus is on presentation and communication of important weather information. Operational meteorologists are more behind the scenes. Their primary job is to come up with weather forecasts with other roles such as issuing emergency weather warnings. Most operational meteorologists work for the National Weather Service, which has over 100 local offices around the country and a few specialized offices, like the National Hurricane Center, for example. Both of these key roles in the field of meteorology are looking at major changes in the coming years, with recent developments only exacerbating this reality. One of these developments is machine learning, a subset of artificial intelligence. Its goal is to perform a task through learning from given data and continuously improving its own performance without human intervention. To do this, it will be given a large set of data that will be processed and cleaned up in a way that will be useful for the task. That processed data is broken up into two buckets: training and testing. The training data will then be put through an algorithm to build a model. The algorithm can be a simple statistical test, to a decision tree, or even a complex neural network. Now the testing dataset will be plugged into what was built, so the program can evaluate how much error occurred between the results of the two datasets. Based on the amount of error, the program will now iterate on its algorithms to continuously improve its results until a final model is created. Additional verification and other tuning may occur after this, but the model can be fed new data and yield a predictive result. Applying this to the context of meteorology, let's say you have a massive dataset of atmospheric parameters and verified tornado reports. A machine learning program can be given a goal to find the patterns in atmospheric data that yields tornadoes, and it'll create a model that will do that with the data provided. With all of this in mind now, let's ask a few questions. What is the goal of meteorologists? It's to predict the weather and relay those predictions to the public. How do they predict the weather? On a very high level, it's pattern recognition. Now, what can machine learning programs do extremely efficiently compared to humans? That's right, pattern recognition. And while humans are very good at pattern recognition on a broad level, machine learning can get extremely granular to a level beyond what any human or team of humans is capable of. That is not to discount the skill of meteorologists, but machine learning's ability to crunch algorithms and optimize is leaps and bounds beyond what the human mind is capable of. A perfect role to illustrate this is the issuance of tornado warnings. Currently, an operational meteorologist will watch radar in real time to make the determination of whether a storm needs a tornado warning or not. With machine learning, it can be fed loads of radar data and verified tornado reports to create the best possible model for warning storms that are about to produce a tornado. While a veteran radar meteorologist knows what to look for based on their training and prior experiences, a machine learning model could be trained with every single radar-observed tornado case to be ever observed, picking up on minute trends that even humans may not have ever detected. Of course, it's one thing to plug in concrete data and get results out, but what about the interpretation of other numerical models that are making their own calculations? This is actually where machine learning may really begin to shine. Atmospheric numerical models are one of the primary tools used by meteorologists to make forecasts. These models are not machine learning, but instead take real-world weather data and observations and plug them into governing physics equations to predict what will happen in the future. It requires some of the world's largest supercomputers to make it happen. Even with these incredible resources, they are far from perfect. These models work at finite grid sizes that are obviously not a perfect representation of our atmosphere. As the models calculate further into the future, error will stack up and continue to propagate. That is why sometimes you'll see outlandish weather scenarios the further you go into the future with a model. It is the job of meteorologists to recognize bias and trends of these different atmospheric models when making their forecasts. Once again though, machine learning can eventually get through errors that numerical models may give, assuming that it has been trained with enough verified atmospheric data. An example of machine learning that is public-facing is a project called NATOcast, which outputs tornado probabilities based on atmospheric numerical model inputs. Okay, so it's clear that with enough tailoring and training for different weather scenarios, machine learning will eventually outperform its human counterparts. What does that mean for operational meteorologists in the National Weather Service? While nothing is for certain, recent political action should be raising alarm bells for NWS meteorologists. Immediately following the inauguration of President Trump's second term, an executive order was signed placing a hiring freeze in the federal government, which waterfalls into the NWS. Multiple government entities are drafting a plan to reduce the federal government workforce. Among these entities is the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk. In his vast resume is founder and CEO of xAI, one of the many major players in the growing AI industry. It was only months ago that Musk stated that AI will eventually make most jobs obsolete. As someone who is both in a position to make recommendations to increase government efficiency and a founder of a major AI company, it seems clear that the writing is on the wall for the eventual transition of human operational meteorologists to machine learning models. At the time of this recording, it's unclear what the impacts of this federal government efficiency executive order will have on NOAA and the NWS. But AI's fast-paced development throughout the next 4 years of this administration's term could make it a possibility given all the players involved and the public goals of the project. While operational meteorologists deal with the headaches and anxieties of the unknown security of their careers in the NWS, broadcast meteorologists faced their own bombshell announcement just a few weeks ago. Allen Media Group, owner of dozens of local news stations across the United States, announced that they would be laying off broadcast meteorologists from their stations. To replace them would be forecasts made by a major player in the weather media game, who also happens to be owned by the Allen Media Group, The Weather Channel. Many of the local TV news markets affected, like Tupelo, Mississippi, and Waterloo, Iowa, where residents rely heavily on local broadcasts for their emergency severe weather information. The news of these layoffs was met with immediate backlash by viewers from the affected TV markets, fortunately forcing Allen Media Group's hand to cancel the plans. For now. The greater state of legacy television media has been on a downward slide. Streaming and other internet platforms have only grown in popularity amongst consumers, while parent TV networks scramble to get into the streaming game themselves. Left in a precarious situation are the local TV markets. Money in TV appears to be drying up, and the shift to other mediums is only continuing to gain momentum. Downsizing and other cost-saving measures seem to be inevitable for the local news stations, and replacing broadcast meteorologists is proven to be in the cards for the parent companies, even if they have yet to follow through on their original intentions. With so much seemingly happening in the field of meteorology in such a short period of time, what may the future look like for opportunities for young aspiring meteorologists? The beauty of this field of study is that it's one of great passion amongst those that are in it. So while the landscape is certainly changing, new opportunities are opening up for those just starting, some of which are revolutionary for this field. Machine learning will obviously be an ever-increasing presence and tool in meteorology. Coding and strong data science skills will undoubtedly be valuable in the changing landscape. For prospective meteorologists that are more interested in a broadcast route, there's no better time now than to build your own platform through social media. Prospective broadcasters should have a strong understanding of the trajectory of media in the 21st century. All of this is to say that some roles in meteorology are going to change relatively rapidly from how they are viewed now. These are just predictions, but the writing is on the wall for change to come. If you wish to not only survive, but thrive in the future of this field, now is the time to learn and master the skills of tomorrow to stay ahead of the curve.